Attention guardsmen, the Commissariat has detected you have not yet liked this video. Do so immediately or else you will face the Emperor's wrath. And anyone who has not yet subscribed to the channel will be transferred to the penal battalions. That is all. Move out!
Hello again, my little conscripts, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, we are going to be casting our ever-critical eye over another 10th edition Imperial Guard Codex datasheet. And this time, we have got the Hellhammer in our sights. And I have a real soft spot for the Super Heavy because it was the first one that I ever bought and built myself. In fact, it was one of the older kits when you just bought the Hellhammer and it only came with the Hellhammer options and it didn't come with all the sponsons. Not like these new kits where you get absolutely everything. But even though I have a soft spot for it, I have to admit that the Hellhammer, well, it's kind of fallen on some hard times. And so without further ado, let's mount up, roll out, and dive right into this. As is tradition, let us begin with a cheeky gander at the Hellhammer's stat line. Starting off, we've got its movement of 12 inches. This is surprisingly fast. Most guard vehicles actually only have a 10-inch movement, but the Hellhammer has a 12, mostly because of its size, meaning that it has to pivot a lot. If you pivot at least once during your move, you have to minus 2 inches from your move. So essentially, even though it's got 2 inches more than the average guard vehicle movement, it's probably going about the same speed. The exception to this, though, is in Hammer of the Emperor, where you have the stratagem crash through, which allows you to go in a straight line through terrain, no problems whatsoever. That can actually make the Hellhammer pretty fast, and you find that a lot of Super Heavies do quite like being in the Hammer of the Emperor detachment because of this. And you can catch people off guard with a surprise, super aggressive crash through Super Heavy, whether it's a Hellhammer or another one. As for its defensive profile, it's very impressive. Toughness 13 means that it is one of the toughest vehicles in the game. I think the only thing higher than it is the Stomper, and it's got a 2+ save and 24 wounds. This profile, in many cases, will make it more durable than an Imperial Knight, and we all know how good those things are. T13 is a big deal because the average strength of the go-to anti-tank weapons like las cannons is strength 12. So the enemy's going to be winning you on 5 with las cannons. You're going to bounce a lot of las cannon shots. 2+ save, if you are tucked into cover, is very, very tough to crack open. And if you get hit by something that is really high AP, like AP4 or ignores cover, then don't forget you do have the Tech Priest engines here who can put a 4+ invulnerable save on this vehicle each turn. And most people think that the Tech Priest is mandatory when you've got a big unit like the Super Heavy Hellhammer, and I am inclined to agree with them on that. So really, it's a 2-up, 4-up, really. And then 24 wounds. That is a really, really big wound pool. And again, taking into account you're going to have a Tech Priest with this thing who can heal D3 wounds back on it each turn, you can really keep your Hellhammer in the fight for a long time, as long as you're sensible with it. This stat line is good, but it's not invincible. I have seen many an over-excited, a reckless guard commander throw their Super Heavies forward thinking that they can take on the entire enemy army's damage output, only to find that they can't. At the end of the day, we're playing 40k. We're playing late 10th edition 40k. We are in a very lethal meta at the moment. My advice would be that your Hellhammer can comfortably take 1 phase worth of damage. So either shooting or fight phase. But if you let the enemy get full blast of shooting onto it and then full blast of combat damage on it, close combat damage that is, you'll find it can go down in a turn relatively easily. Lastly, we've got Leadership 7, which is nothing to write home about, pretty standard in the guard. And then we've got Objective Control of 8, which is really good. Bit of a hidden gem about the Hellhammer. OC8 means that you can typically just sneak a little bit of your track onto objective and then sneak it away from most enemy armies. A lot of people out there these days just aren't taking OC dense units. If they are, they're taking like 1 or 2 of them just to sit on like the home objective. But being able to have OC8 in a meta where everyone's running like OC1 infantry gives you a really big advantage. So that covers the maneuverability and the durability of the Hellhammer. And to be honest, that covers 90% of the positives around this vehicle. Now we have to get into its damage output, which is okay, but certainly leaves something to be desired. Let's get into the weapons and war gear and ability. So each Hellhammer comes with a coaxial autocannon, a demolisher cannon, a heavy stubber, a Hellhammer cannon, 2 las cannons, a twin heavy bolter, and 2 twin heavy flamers. Now, as with all of the guard super heavies, you can swap out the 2 twin heavy flamers, which are in the sponson, for 2 twin heavy bolters. And you should do that every single time. Twin heavy flamers used to be really good in editions gone by, but now they're just not enough shots, not enough range. Just they leave a lot to be desired. So I would always go all heavy bolters all the way. And that also applies to the additional set of sponsors that you can put on this thing. Because it comes with, as you can see, it comes with a las cannon, heavy flames on the side, right? That's the first set of sponsons. But you can actually add an extra set of these things back here. And I'll show you how I've done it on one of my models. And that actually allows you to take another 2 las cannons and 2 twin heavy bolters. And that's for free. So the full loadout of this thing should really be coaxial autocannon, demolisher cannon, heavy stubber, Hellhammer cannon, 4 las cannons, 5 twin heavy bolters, and the armor tracks. That's what you're aiming for when you've taken this and then adapted it the right way. Now, it's not a Hellhammer, but if you want an example of what a super heavy with that configuration looks like, it'll be similar to this. So this is my Bane sword, and you can see I've got the 4 sponsons on it there, 2 on each side, each one with the twin heavy bolters and the las cannons on top. Also, I've got the twin heavy bolter there. Now, of course, if you're running a Hellhammer, you'll also have a demolisher cannon in the hull on this side, and instead of just having one big gun, you'll have that turret which has got the Hellhammer cannon with the coaxial autocannon. But this is more just to show you what that sponson layout looks like and what configuration you want those sponsons to have. So now that we know what the loadout of this thing is, now let's get into what each one of those weapons does. And we'll begin at the bottom and work our way up. So firstly, we have got the twin heavy bolters. Remember, we've got 5 of these things. Each twin heavy bolter has sustained hits 1 and twin linked, meaning that if we get a 6 to hit, it generates an additional hit, like exploding 6s. And twin link means we get full rerolls to wound, which allows us to punch up into tough targets. Even if you're fishing for 6s, full rerolls can really help there. But a lot of the time, thanks to the strength 5 of the heavy bolter, you're probably wounding even tough things on like 5s with full rerolls, and that's pretty good. And against infantry, it just starts shredding them because you're typically wounding on 3s or 4s. Again, twin linked, so full rerolls. Now you get 3 shots per twin heavy bolter because we've got 5 of them. That's going to give us 15 shots at strength 5, AP -1, damage 2. So these are great for doing chip damage against big things and great for hosing down infantry. Now, it might look like the Hellhammer's got kind of a crappy ballistic skill 4 across the board here, but in a recent update, they have given Hellhammers the ability to get orders again. Now, the only way you can get orders is from Lord Solar Leontus. He can order regiment, squadron, and also Titanic units. So you can't use Leontus to order your Auxilia, like your Bulgrin, but you can order him now to boss around your Hellhammer. And you're going to want to do that, and you're pretty much going to want to go for take aim every single time. After the heavy bolters, our next weapon is the coaxial autocannon. This is just a standard autocannon, 48-inch range, 2 shots, strength 9, AP -1, damage 3. This is fine. It's just a bit of accoutrement. It's got a better strength, it's got a better damage, but this is, for me, really kind of falling into the same category as the heavy bolter. It's there to really beat up infantry, and it can do some work against vehicles. The last anti-infantry weapon that we have here that isn't the main gun, and we're going to get to that in a moment, believe that, is the heavy stubber. It's kind of cool that the Hellhammer gets a heavy stubber. Not many other guard super heavies do. I think maybe only the Baneblade gets one. The heavy stubber is rapid fire 3 and essentially fires 3 bolter shot. So if you're within 18 inches, it's going to fire 6 shots. I love heavy stubbers. They're very cool. And every time you fire one, you do get the opportunity to go, get on that 50. Somebody get on that 50. But the real punch of this thing comes from the anti-tank weapons, the big boom booms. And we have got 4 las cannons on this thing. And I said earlier when we were talking about durability, las cannons are the quintessential go-to anti-tank for most factions. Either las cannon itself or some sort of las cannon equivalent or adjacent in another faction, like a Bright Lance for Eldar, for example. Las cannons have got strength 12, AP -3, D6 plus 1 damage. That strength combined with that AP with the ability to spike on damage makes these things really deadly when going against vehicles. Especially with you packing 4 of them, you can get quite a good concentrated las barrage. Now, unlike most other Guard super heavies, again with the Baneblade being the only exception, this is not the only supporting anti-tank option on this vehicle. We've also got the Demolisher Cannon. And this is a proper Demolisher Cannon. It's not like a Lehman Russ Demolisher Cannon, which apparently had to be nerfed for some unknown reason. This is a proper old school Demolisher Cannon, and it's very good. D6 plus 3 shots at strength 14, AP -3, damage D6. So it's swingy on the damage, but unlike every other Demolisher Cannon in the Guard, it's not D6 plus 1 shots, it's D6 plus 3 shots. Thank you very much. Between the Demolisher Cannon and the las cannons, you've got a very nice amount of supporting anti-tank. Now, all of this sounds pretty good so far. All of it sounds great. But sadly, all of these weapons that we've looked at really are the, like I said, supporting weapons, the accoutrement, the bonuses. The main reason to take any Guard Super Heavy is the main gun. And for some reason, GW has redesigned the Hellhammer cannon to be absolutely terrible. It used to fire one of the most powerful rounds. It used to fire like depleted, not depleted, like it was like atomic nuclear rounds or something mad. It was really, really cool. Now it's essentially just a big Eradicator cannon, but it's not even that big. So like the Lehman Russ Eradicator cannon, it has blast and it ignores cover, but it's got a shorter range. Why is it only a 30-inch range, not 36-inch range? It's only strength 7, AP -1, damage 2. So in many ways, it's no better than just a big heavy bolter. It's a slightly stronger heavy bolter, but strength 7, strength 5, it doesn't mean a huge amount. And then it's 4d6 shots. So it's worse than the Eradicator Nova Cannon because it hasn't got the one thing that the Eradicator has going for it, which is reliability. Most other random shot weapons in the Guard are D6 plus 3, which can make them kind of swingy. The Eradicator Nova Cannon for the Lehman Russ accepts that it's got a lower damage shot, but then compensates for that by being 6 plus D3 shots, so you always get a really good volume out of it. And the Hellhammer decided, no, we're just going for 4d6. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Short range, not enough damage, and now super low reliability. I could easily envisage a scenario where you roll a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 2. We've all been there. We've all done it. This should have had like just a flat... What's the average from this, right? 14? This should have just fired 14 shots. Screw it. Just make it fire the average. Then we might be cooking. Then we might be cooking. Even if you made it like, make it like 12 plus 2d3. Make it like 12 plus 2d3 if you want to give it a bit of randomness and make it essentially just a double-sized Eradicator Nova Cannon. But 4d6? No. Just not for me. And truth be told, this gun just feels so sad on a tank this big and this epic. I would redesign it. I would put it back to the way that it was. Make it like a bigger version of the Baneblade cannon. I don't mind it being swingy as all hell if you're then going to make it powerful as all hell. But you can't have it be swingy as all hell and then just so anemic. The way I would approach this, I would make it like a big Demolisher cannon. So it's got a Demolisher cannon in the hull, but then maybe the Hellhammer cannon is, you could make it like 3d6 shots, maybe like 3d6 Demolisher cannon shots. Maybe that would be too much. I don't know. I'm okay with it being swingy and short ranged, but it needs to be powerful. And right now it's swingy, short ranged, and just a bag of shit. And combine this with the fact that its ability is clearly half-baked, just kills the Hellhammer for me. Close quarters warfare. This model does not suffer the penalty to hit rolls for making range attacks while enemy units are within engagement range of it. Now that might seem okay, but it's actually a downgrade, because it used to be able to ignore to hit roll penalties for engagement range, and also be able to fire its blast weapons into combat. But now, it can't even fire the blast weapons into combat. So the whole point of this thing being like a bully tank that you like bumper car with people and mess with them and like it's a proper siege breaker, you can't even do that, because then you can't even shoot its Hellhammer cannon or its Demolisher cannon, arguably its best weapons, into the combat that it's in. Yeah. You need to fix this, GW. This needs to be so that it can either fire all of its guns into melee or screw it. You know what? Make it like the Eradicator and give it inbuilt -1 damage. Just make this thing a big Eradicator. If you want to fix the Hellhammer, make it a big Eradicator. Make it just have -1 damage all the time, not just in cover. It is the cover. Just give it -1 damage all the time. And then also keep the Hellhammer profile as it is, but make it super reliable. Super duper reliable. That is how you do it. I'd say 15 shots at this profile and make it 36-inch range. Do that. I'd actually, you know what, 16 shots. Make it 16 shots because it's 2 Eradicator cannons on the average number of shots that the Eradicator cannon gets. If you do that, GW, you fix the Hellhammer and people will start taking it. And it won't be broken. It won't be overpowered in any way, shape, or form. It'll just be decent. I don't like finishing on a negative note, so I will say one more positive thing about the Hellhammer. It's relatively cheap for a guard super heavy. It's 450 points, which means that the only one that's cheaper than it is the Shadow Sword. But the Shadow Sword, in my mind, is better than the Hellhammer, because the Shadow Sword it's a Shadow Sword, you know what I mean? It just has that big dick gun. I think keep the Hellhammer at 450 points, fix the things that I said about it, and then you have a super heavy that I would gladly take into battle. I wouldn't expect to win very much with it, but at least it wouldn't feel just bad. Well, of course, that's what I think. But all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Are you a fan of the Hellhammer, or is there another super heavy that you prefer? And what fixes would you propose for this big tonk? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day.